Okay, welcome. Uh, if you're seeing this in continuation with the other videos, welcome back. If you're joining us for the first time in an independent video, Smarten is a business intelligence platform, and I invite you to look at the diverse functionality which are pretty unique in the world of analytics and predictive analytics, which we have demonstrated in the other videos. You can download a couple of presentations. So what you can see on this screen, are the couple of key features which make up augmented analytics. One is the self-serve data preparation, and the other is assisted predictive modeling, and the other is smart visualization. Assisted predictive modeling allows you to kind of build a business data model and run predictive analytics without writing a single line of script, and that's what we are going to do now. So if you want to see how data preparation is done, there are a couple of other videos which you can have a look at, but right now we're going to just dive right into a data set which we have prepared, and here we are going to look at the effectiveness of a salesperson based on some data in the person's business as well as in his life. So on the left hand side is a list of names, then we have the years of education after the 12th grade, and then years with the company, the number of wholesale stockists or the outlets which the representative is handling, the sales in different years in value, the average sales, the compounded annual growth rate, which is a compounded annual growth rate over a period from 2013 to 17, the average sales. Alright, this is not average sales, this is something else. We can remove this. We can kind of delete remove this column. Okay, so I've removed that column. I think it was something which was not required, and okay, so this basically makes up the data set which we are going to use for our analysis. So one can publish this, and it's ready to go after that. Now let's take a Smarten Insight. So a new Smarten Insight. So now what we want to do is that we want to find out how one variable which is mainly going to be sales impacts the other variables to make what type of an individual is effective. So I mean, the effectiveness of the salesperson will be determined by, say, the compounded annual growth rate. I think compounded annual growth rate is far important than the total sales, because I mean the total sales depends on multiple variables. I mean, including the region and including the market type. So we look at years of education, years with the company. We don't look at number of wholesale stockists entered. We look at we look at the say the wholesale stockist handler also, and we run the regression analysis throughout the data set. So this is the output. So it says that following variables have an impact: years with the company, and following variables do not have an impact: education and the number of stockists handled. So this kind of gives you an idea that what makes an bigger impact on compounded annual growth rate. So the growth rate is more or less dependent on the years with the company, and retaining employees makes a big difference. So just want to change this analysis a bit. So I'll remove this wholesale stockist, and I will again run this. So I've removed the number of wholesale stockists, and this says that again years with the company matters, and years of education after this thing after the school, that means after 12th grade, does not matter at all. So let me modify this further. So now we are clear about one thing, is that the education doesn't matter. So we bring in the wholesale stockist once again. One good indicator would have been the salary, which is not there in this data set. Same thing again. So it doesn't matter what wholesale stock, how much wholesale stockist he handles. But to change this dramatically, say for example, if I say that I want to see the average sales, then both the factors have a very significant impact. The number of years with the company as well as the wholesale stockist. So it kind of gives you a very different dimension. So compounded annual growth rate gives the effectiveness of a person over a certain period, and that is only dependent on years the person has spent in the organization. Doesn't depend on the number of stockists he is handling, doesn't depend on anything else. But the average sales, which is like the total sales he does across wholesale stockists, depends on multiple factors, including the number of stockists he is handling. But one thing that definitely doesn't matter in this particular data set is the number of years the person has spent in education. Rather interesting. All right, thank you.